The best KBeauty sunscreens of 2021 for every skin type and concern, because you know what we love? KBeauty. You know what else we love? Sunscreens. You know what we don't love? Getting sunscreens in our eyes and having it look like we're having a mental breakdown on Zoom. I promise I am not falling apart. It is just sunscreen. So yes, we even have sunscreen recommendations that you could rub into your eyeballs because they are safe for sensitive skin. Do I recommend it? Absolutely not. But could you do it? Oh, you could. I have tested, swatched, analyzed, and scrutinized so many sunscreens, and these are the best ones for skin types such as oily and dry, for conditions such as acne safe or hyperpigmentation friendly, and even for things like mature skin or sports safe sunscreen that you can take with you on the go. I invite you to join me in grabbing a snack and taking out your skincare notebook to write down notes on some of these ingredients lists. And in addition, there's a second best part, which is the fact that some of these are on sale and I have a discount code as well because we're working with Stylevana on this video. I love them. They are an amazing KBeauty retailer, and yes, they have these as well as other sunscreens at discounted prices, and I actually owe them my love of KBeauty. I first did a video testing out KBeauty for the first time, and since then it has been a slippery slope that I call a love affair. And as long as I am slathered in SPF along the ride, I enjoy it. Let's start out with dry and oily skin. You know from our TikToks that there is no such thing as an actual skin type, but that some people tend to be more oily or more dry. And this one is for the dry babies heading into winter. This is the SPF 50 Sun Project Water Sun Cream, and this is amazing if you want a sunscreen that is a hydrator. I don't even think of this as a sunscreen. I basically think of this as a moisturizer that has the benefits of an SPF 50. This has soothing ingredients such as Centella, but it's also got mistletoe extract. That's really nice. We have multiple types of oil, including sunflower oil and soybean lipids, and if you are someone whose skin is constantly dry, this helps to give moisture and soothing ingredients to the skin, but then it also kind of locks them in as a moisturizer with these oils. It glides on nicely to the skin and it gives you that oily serum finish, so it doesn't make you a grease ball, but it does give you, that oily touch, and for me, being a little bit more on the oily side, it's too much for those areas, but when I get a dry patch, this is phenomenal, and it's because it does act like a moisturizer on skin. If you always use sunscreen and you have dry patches and like the sunscreen cakes up and gets white in those little patches or little flakes, this is going to be your favorite. Again, as a water cream, super hydrating, super moisturizing, and because it doesn't have a big white cast, it doesn't get all gunky like this. I don't know why it's called Thank You Farmer. Like, are we thanking the farmer for harvesting the sunscreen? Like, did they go and rake them out of the cornfields? But I absolutely adore this, and based on my experience with this sunscreen, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to try out more products from their line. Now, the next one has been a favorite of mine for frickin' ever. I have oily skin, and this one is an oily skin favorite, but I do want to call out that I think that they reformulated this recently. This is the Make Prem UV Defense Me Daily Sun Fluid, and oh my god, it was my first Stylevana video where I fell in love with this. I draw little smiley faces with this on my hands and on my face. It's a super lightweight liquid, and because it is so incredibly lightweight, it absorbs into the skin magnificently. Oopsies, my smiley face has 3 eyes. He's special, okay? It absorbs magnificently, and it is just so lightweight that even if you have the most grease-ballish skin where your face literally looks like an oil slick at the end of the day, this absorbs so nicely. It gives a little bit of a dew, but it doesn't make you look overly saturated or greaseball status. As you can see, I do feel like the formula changed a little bit. Some people in our Discord and our beautiful butterfly community have mentioned that it has a little bit more of a white cast than it used to. This used to be absolutely sheer. Now, I do believe it's changed. I don't think it's that way anymore, but I have still been trying it and it still works for my oily skin. This is just something to keep in mind if you do have a darker Fitzpatrick type, you might want to be aware of this. This also has a lot of plant extracts like black currant, like pear, like peach, like fig. I love it because it really is a nice antioxidant boost. And again, if you're oily, you don't need a moisturizer. You could use this as your moisturizer plus sunscreen. I do like the flashback ability of the first version better because it didn't flash back, but this one does rub in to certain skin tones, and if you are oily, it is phenomenal. Now, to fix that, what is the best no flashback KBeauty sunscreen? It is this one that I got my cousin hooked on. This is the Frudia SPF 50+++ Ultra UV Shield Sun Essence. This smells amazing, and this is completely sheer. I think I've told you the story about my cousin before. She and I go on 16-mile hikes. We go camping in a camper. We jump into the ocean. We have very magical excursions. Her mom is my auntie, and my auntie is a sunscreen queen, and my mother is a sunscreen ninja, and we both grew up being slathered head to toe in sunscreen. As well as having to wear those stupid UPF swimsuits, I used to look like Barney on the beach. It was so embarrassing. We were slathered up in sunscreen every day, and as my cousin and I go through life as we age gracefully, we have both come together on road trips, and we look at each other from across the driver's and passenger seats, and we're like, holy shit, we have become our mothers. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Anyways, I whipped out this sunscreen and I had her try it because she had run out of her sunscreen, and she fell in love with this. She's an athlete, so she doesn't like things that sting her face. She's also not a super big skintellectual, meaning she doesn't understand a ton about ingredients, and she wants things that are cosmetically elegant, that feel good, that smell nice. And she has had her own personal struggles with acne. And this sunscreen works so well for her. It doesn't break her out. It's fun for her to apply. She can use it while she's rock climbing and sportsing and Cirque du Soleil, because yes, she was Cirque du Soleil. Amazing. I love this so much. And this little thing is like $8. It is super travel friendly. It smells amazing, and it has no flashback. So if you are looking for something that is absolutely invisible, or if you, like my cousin, like to go on lots of adventures and maybe have more acne prone skin and like something that smells nice, this is a slam dunk, and this is still, like a year and a half later, one of my absolute favorites. Now, what about those who maybe don't like fragrance? They want something fragrance free, and maybe they don't have acne, but they have more sensitive skin. Hi, that perfectly describes one of our lovely editors named Doris. Doris is a personal friend of mine. We actually used to live together, and she helps to edit these videos, but she's also got super sensitive skin to the point that almost anything makes her have a rash, have irritation, makes her eyes burn, etc. Well, my friends, I finally found Doris a sunscreen that doesn't make her face feel like fire. This right here is the Rovectin Skin Essentials Aqua Soothing UV Protector SPF 50 PA++++ Advanced Formula Hypoallergenic Non-Chemical Filter. This from Rovectin is a slam dunk. This has zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, making it a mineral sunscreen, and the third ingredient is cyclohexasiloxane. A lot of sunscreens we normally see have, glycerin or caprylic triglyceride or propanediol. This one doesn't have that. This one, her body different, and you know what? This works for Doris and her most sensitive skin. She was asking me for eye creams for fine lines and wrinkles, and I was like, don't use eye creams, like use a sunscreen to prevent that from happening. And she literally used this by her orbital area, and it did not make her cry. She did have a sensible feeling, and again, this is why I don't recommend rubbing sunscreen in your eyes. This is not proven to be put in your eyeballs, but I wanted to test it because I wanted to find her the perfect sunscreen because I know she has struggled so much, and this is it. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this does have coconut oil in it, which is why for some people who are more acne prone, this might not be the perfect fit. But for Doris, who isn't acne prone but just has so much sensitivity, this is a slam dunk. And if you are someone who is ultra sensitive, especially to synthetic fragrance, this has no synthetic fragrance in it. This does have fruit extracts, specifically apple, tomato, and cranberry, so please be aware of that. But in this formula, I find them to be really non-irritating. I find them to be more like an antioxidant boost. But overall, for those who have struggled, for those who do have allergies, this is technically hypoallergenic, although there's no main testing for that. This brand claims it, and you know what? I believe it. And as of now, it is Doris's eyeballs approved. Now, what if you do have acne? And what if you, like 16-year-old me, had issues with so many sunscreens because they break you out, and you're always like, I want to wear sunscreen because I need it, but every time I do, my pimples be popping, like literally, brrr, bop. I wish that I had had this sunscreen when I was an acne-prone teenager, because this is one of the best KBeauty sunscreens for those who are breakout prone. Now, there's not a lot in here that's actually going to solve the acne problem, and again, that's why you see a dermatologist, that's why you use ingredients that are medically proven to treat acne. But if you do have acne-prone skin, this formula will be your friend. It specifically has tea tree oil in it, and we know that tea tree is antimicrobial and antibacterial, so this formula already sets us up with a great base. And then it's also got dimethicone and different silicones in here. Some people are worried about or afraid of silicones, but silicones are actually used in acne medications, and a lot of people with acne really love them. They give this product a wonderful slip, and this is technically called the No Sebum Perfect UV Shield Aqua Milky Brightening Tone Up and Long Lasting Sebum Care Non-Greasy. It says all skin types, but let me tell you, this is for the acne prone. Whether you are dry and acne prone or whether you are oily and acne prone, this is it. Now, this is also a mineral sun shield, which generally tend to be better for acne. People who have acne, I know a lot of times the organic or chemical filters don't work as well for them as mineral ones do, but do keep in mind that some mineral formulas flash back a little bit more. I would not say this one is bad. With a little bit of elbow grease, you can get it to rub in. It's not horrible, but it is definitely not completely sheer. So please just keep that in mind. Now, what if it's not the acne that bothers you, but it's the hyperpigmentation or the redness that is left behind? I found this product and I don't know how I have not heard of this brand earlier. This is the Madagascar Centella Air Fit Sun Cream plus SPF 50 PA+++++, and it's made with Centella from Madagascar. Now, first off, just the aesthetics of this are so beautiful. Like, yes, give me National Geographic on my sunscreen, please and thank you. But the formula of this is also phenomenal. And when you look at this little bottle, I know that KBeauty no longer has their sunscreen. They discontinued it. I think they're remaking it. But this reminds me of the closest thing I can get to the KBeauty sunscreen because I loved that one and I am so sad that it's gone. But I'm happy this exists. The main ingredient in here is not water or universal solvent. It is Centella asiatica, that tiger grass that is really good for redness control and for helping soothe skin. The sunscreen filters in here are zinc and titanium, so it is mineral, but then we also have niacinamide and we have licorice. And you know that niacinamide and licorice are amazing for both redness and hyperpigmentation. Niacinamide basically stops the transfer of pigment, so it stops pigment from going over to other skin cells. So if you do struggle with redness post breakouts, this is amazing. This also has licorice, which has often been used to help treat some mild forms of hyperpigmentation. If you are someone who gets red or if you're prone to that pigment, this is going to be your best friend. Now, please note that this formula is slightly tinted. I feel like it absorbs very well, but it does have a slight tint to it. So that's also why I love this for redness, because that color kind of neutralizes anything red on the face. I have erythema because I have dermatographia, which is basically a hive type reaction. When you touch my skin, it gets really red. Look at how well this covers that up. It's not makeup, but it's almost like a little bit of makeup because it does have this nice color correction to it. I love this. I wish that I would have found this earlier. Reminds me of the KBeauty, and look at that. You could get away with using this instead of foundation. You could literally use this on your under eyes too. If you have really dark under eye circles and you're looking for an under eye cream that is actually anti-aging, use this. Just the way I told Doris that a sunscreen is going to be the best for preventing fine lines and wrinkles under her eye area, this is also going to be an amazing one, especially if you have under eye dark circles and dark pigment. We stan this one. You know, butterflies, it is hard to apply sunscreen without a mirror. Let me just make sure that's blended in, why don't we? And speaking of a sunscreen that could act as makeup, what about sunscreen that works well under makeup? A lot of people struggle with sunscreen that balls up. We want to use a good moisturizer, we want to use a good sunscreen, but then it pills, and if they ball up, you basically can't apply makeup because any foundation is gonna look cakey as heck. Well, I have a KBeauty solution for you. This is the CosRX Aloe Soothing Sun Cream. It's an SPF 50 PA++++++++, and this one says it is formulated with aloe extract, butylene glycol, and the sun cream protects skin against UVA and UVB rays while hydrating skin. So what's amazing about this is that it doesn't pill. You could use this over a moisturizer and under a foundation, or you could use this in place of a moisturizer, but this one does not gum up. Now, I had to try a lot of sunscreens to find ones that work under foundation. As you know, I used to have really horrible acne, and I would spend almost 2 hours every single day getting my acne covered up and then using really bright eyeshadow and like big poofy scene kid hair to distract from my acne. But when I was wearing that thick, heavy, cakey makeup, it was so frustrating because there were no sunscreens that would actually look good. And there are so many sunscreens that don't work under foundation or that do make you cakealicious. So I have tried and tested so many sunscreen formulations, and this one is a dream. It doesn't flash back, it works well under the thickest of foundations or the thinnest, and on top of that, it actually has ingredients that support the skin. It has glycerin, silica, and sulfonic acid. These can be very hydrating, and especially that silica gives us a nice slip, but it doesn't ball up no matter what you apply. And if you are someone who wears makeup every day, or if you haven't been able to wear sunscreen every day, even though SPF is your BFF, it just doesn't work under your makeup, and makeup has kind of been there for you when sunscreen hasn't. Trust me, I understand. We have all had those friendships that fell through. Let me reintroduce you to your new BFF, because this is one that actually works. If you're looking for another sunscreen that dries down completely, I love this one. This is from Rom and No. I've never heard of this brand before either, but this is the Zero Sun Clean 01 Fresh SPF 50 PA+++++++++++++. And I love this for mature skin. As we know, because SPF is our BFF, sunscreen is the best thing we can do to prevent fine lines, wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, preventing acne scarring from worsening, etc. And this formula is so good for mature skin, specifically because it doesn't ball up in fine lines or wrinkles. wrinkles. If someone has more mature skin that sags or has fine lines or wrinkles, like stuff gets caught in it. It pills up, it kind of gets gunky, it doesn't dry down, and it just feels weird. This one doesn't do that. It doesn't pill up, it goes on super sheer. It really has like a nice finishing touch to the skin. And if you have mature skin, this one is lovely. It also dries down nicely if you wanted to use it underneath makeup, but it doesn't have this dry touch feeling. So because it's actually soothing to the skin, it actually kind of helps to plump up and boost up any wrinkles and fine lines. So it's not only helping prevent, the wrinkles from fine lines and aging from the sun and the UV rays, but it also just helps to plump up the skin that's already there to make it look a little bit more supple, a little bit more fresh. This is a zinc oxide based formula, but it does have some plant ingredients such as olive oil, such as rosemary, such as clary, etc. And it does say that it has deep ocean water as well as hydrasalicornia. Now, I don't know what hydrasalicornia is, but it seems to work in this formula and it appears to be cruelty-free and vegan. And when I put it on my face, I like it. And when I recommend it to my auntie or to other people who have more mature skin, it works well for them. It doesn't sit in their wrinkles. And if you are someone who is looking to age gracefully or just to protect and love the skin you're in, this is a must-have for grown-up girls who are maybe at or over 30. I don't know why it's called the Zero Sun Clean though. I mean, I guess you could use it from ages 0 to 100. You technically could, but I do recommend it for those of us who are shortening our telomeres day by day. And let's say that as you are aging gracefully, you also want to live a healthy lifestyle, which means staying hydrated, both orally and topically, as well as exercising to get your blood pumping, your cardio going, and your lymphatic fluid moving. What are you supposed to do if you're looking for a sport-safe or on-the-go option? This one right here is amazing. This is a sun stick that is amazing for sport use because again, you can get this all over the place and it doesn't get inside of your eye. It doesn't make you cry while you're running a marathon. So if you're crying, it's actually because you're running the marathon and not because of your sunscreen. And it's an SPF 50, so you don't have to reapply it like every 60 to 90 minutes. You can go a little bit longer with this one. This is the Enjoy Super Active Airy Sun Stick. It is airy and convenient to use anytime, anywhere, and I do agree. If you are an athlete, this is amazing. It's not a dry touch, but it has almost one of those powdery finishes. It feels really good on the skin and it's completely invisible, so there is no flashback. It did win some sort of a beauty award in 2020, and because it is so small and compact, you could put this in a pocket, you can put this, in a camelback if you're hiking, so it's really good for on the go. This formula has dimethicone and silica, so it smooths over the skin wonderfully, and the text on the bottle is really, really, really tiny, but without my contacts or glasses, I think it says licorice, and as we know, licorice is amazing for those who do get those dark spots and hyperpigmentation, which can sometimes be caused from the sun. So this not only prevents that hyperpigmentation from happening while you're exercising or out and about, but also has the licorice to stop any of those melanocytes that might be stimulated and say, hey, calm your titties. We don't need to create some hyperpigmentation today. And would this even be a best of 2021 KBeauty sunscreen video if we didn't feature this one from ISNTREE? This is the one that, again, I had a love affair with. It gives me the Welsh Twins glowy skin. This is the Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel, and I love this. And this is best for normal skin. And if you have normal skin, I appreciate that you made it to this point in this video, but why are you here? And also, what does normal even mean? This category I have my own tiffs with, but I made the category, so I'm just getting upset at myself at this point. But I had to include this because I feel like this is so good for different skin types. As you know, I am oily and acne prone, but I have been having issues with my little dry patches. I've spoken to you a little bit about my vitamin D, about some hair loss, about some stuff with my one kidney that's going on the internal side of things. And I've been having little dry patches. And throughout 2021, I have reached for this. And this works for me. Now, ISNTREE does have some other sunscreens that are not as sheer. This one is definitely the most sheer that I've found. But what I love about this, in addition to the little glow that it gives me and how well it sits on skin, is that it doesn't pill up, it doesn't flash back for me, but it also has hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid, as you know, is a humectant, but sometimes it can actually destroy sunscreens if you use a hyaluronic acid serum and then a regular sunscreen. That hyaluronic acid serum could actually pull moisture from the sunscreen and stop the sunscreen from kind of setting up and creating that shield or that barrier on skin. So they actually put the hyaluronic acid in here and combined it in a way that doesn't do that. So if you want the moisture and hydration from the hyaluronic acid, there are, I think, 8 different types, 5 different types, 8 different types. But it works with the sunscreen instead of ruining it for your skin. I love this formula so much. This was definitely a favorite for me. And if you're trying to get a sunscreen for someone else, this one doesn't flash back. This one works for most skin types. It does give you a little bit of a dewy glow, so just keep that in mind if someone's super, super oily. But if you're looking for a gift or a stocking stuffer, this is really an excellent one because I feel like most people can't go wrong with this. Additionally, you know, for winter, a lot of people think they don't need to wear sunscreen. You are a skintellectual, so you know that you do. And even if you're in the snow, if you're snow skiing or snowboarding, that snow can flash back light onto the face and actually cause sunburns. So it's really good to always have one on hand, and this is the one that I keep inside of my car. It is my little to-go sunscreen, and I used it all summer, and I'm gonna continue using it during the winter. Speaking of snow skiing, if you've made it to this point in the video, can we confuse the heck out of everyone else? Post a little snow skiing emoji and just be like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. They'll be like, what happened to her? Like, what happened? Let me tell you what happened. I was snow skiing probably when I was like 8 years old and I was just learning. I think I went from the bunny slope over to the little green intermediate slope. And when we were stopping, we were told to pizza, which basically means put your toes together and it pushes the snow outward so that you can come to a halt. But my pizza-ing was not pizza-ing enough because my ankles just weren't strong enough and my feet were sliding out. So here I am, pink puffer 8-year-old, doing the splits, laying forward, sliding down a hill, and I basically just caught a bunch of snow in my pants. It was traumatizing. It was terrifying. It was very cold. I cried a lot. Post a little snow skiing emoji and be like, Cassandra, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And that's how we know who the real skintellectuals are, who really stay to the end. I love you, beautiful butterflies. Always remember to stay hydrated both orally and topically. Do remember to reapply your SPF, and remember to know how to stop on snow skis if you are going to throw yourself down a literal hill. The discount for these and other sunscreens is in the description box, and mwah, 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 mwah. I love you lots, and I will see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.